Finn's voice barely rose above a whisper as he stared at the fresh trail of dark green fluid. The ventilation shaft loomed like a gaping wound in the corridor wall, its metal grill torn from its hinges. Alara stepped forward, forcing the tremor from her voice. "We can't stay put. We need to find it before it—" A resounding thud cut her sentence short. Far down the passage, something slammed against the bulkhead. It sounded like claws scraping metal. Jax ran a diagnostic scan on his wrist console. Pressure remains stable, but something's moving behind the plating. Pockets of heat signatures keep appearing and disappearing. Sarah peered around a corner, weapon raised. Her knuckles had gone white from gripping the handle too hard. "Captain, if there are more of these things, we could be dealing with a nest. They might have laid eggs." Finn's voice trembled. "We can't risk them spreading throughout the ship. Maybe we should isolate different sectors, seal the vents." Alara nodded sharply. "Do it. Jax, patch into the environmental controls. Shut down the ventilation in all unoccupied sections. We'll corral them if we can." She glared at the ravaged grill. "We just have to hope they haven't already spread too far." The corridor lights flickered as Jax tapped commands into the nearest control panel. Doors slid shut along deserted hallways, cutting off potential escape routes for the intruders. Meanwhile, Sarah rerouted the ship's meager internal sensor array, trying to track every shift in temperature or movement behind the walls. A sudden shriek echoed through the ventilation shaft. Finn and Sarah exchanged a terrified glance. Alara motioned for silence. Slowly, she approached a maintenance hatch. Hearing the faint skittering of many legs, she eased it open, shining her flashlight inside. The flickering beam revealed a cluster of dripping egg sacs nestled among the ship's wiring, each one pulsating with life. Before Alara could speak, an elongated limb lashed out from the darkness. Alara jerked back in time, but not before the creature's claws slashed the flashlight in half, plunging the shaft into near darkness. "Back!" she hissed, scrambling away. Another shriek rang out from deeper inside. The corridor walls reverberated with the unsettling hum that Finn had heard before, only louder now, a sign that more of them were waking. They regrouped in the galley, faces lit by the faint glow of emergency lights. Alara's tone was firm. "We have a nest to destroy. We can't just vent half the ship. Our life support systems are compromised enough as it is." Jax surveyed the anxious faces. "Could we isolate the area with force fields and flush only that section?" Sarah shook her head. "The field generators are old. There's no guarantee. They'll hold if the creatures break through. Plus, the nest is directly above critical wiring. We risk shorting out the entire ship if we're not careful." Alara pressed her lips into a thin line. "We'll have to do this the hard way." She hefted a plasma torch from the tool rack. "We go in, carefully, destroy the nest, and hunt down any stragglers." Finn swallowed hard. "And if one of them tries to escape again?" Alara's gaze slid to Jax. "You'll seal off every corridor behind us as we advance. We trap them in pockets, pick them off, and move forward. We can't let them overrun the Argonaut." Weaponized with improvised flamethrowers and pulse rifles, the 4 crew members inched their way back through the corridors. The ship seemed to pulse around them, the alien hum growing into a soft, eerie chorus. Every drip of green fluid on the floor, every whisper of movement within the walls, threatened to shatter their nerves. A clang came from above. They froze. Suddenly, 2 of the creatures burst from an overhead panel, landing between Alara and Finn. Their chitinous hides shone with an oily sheen, their mandibles chattering in rage. "Fire!" Alara shouted. A burst of flame illuminated the corridor, bathing the horrors in searing light. One let out an otherworldly shriek as it collapsed under the onslaught. The second bolted sideways, scrambling up the wall in a blur of segmented limbs. It vanished into another open shaft before anyone could stop it. Panting, Sarah scanned the walls with wide eyes. "That was just 2. There are more out there." From deep in the ship, the pulsating hum intensified, resonating like a heartbeat that refused to die. Alara's grip tightened on the trigger of her weapon. "Then we keep going, no matter what." They advanced through the darkness, hearts pounding, ready to confront the unknown horrors lurking in the Argonaut's bowels, knowing that each step might be their last.